Mark that 20 consecutive knockouts for Triple G. TYT Sports, Francis Maxwell, Jason Rubin. Golovkin, there's even some commenters, some tweets this weekend. When's the GGG clip going up? Well, it's going up for you today. Thank you, audience. We do love you. Triple G made do with Willie Monroe Jr., who you just reminded me was his nephew of?
I think it's Monroe, the boxer that fought Hagler, right?
Yes.
In one of the most notorious fights. So he's
boxing trivia.
He's from a boxing family, and he's in such pristine shape.
Yes.
Like, he looked like just so muscular, and that's what everyone said when I was reading a lot of the play-by-plays, or should I say round-by-rounds? On the play-by-plays and the round-by-rounds on the Guardian, which is one of the articles that I follow. And finally, I think GGG is getting the recognition that he thoroughly deserves.
Yes.
Like, throughout this. Another prime performance from him. And we may be in an imperfect prism in this weight class at the moment, because there might not be as many people who are considered to be top range boxers, but he is definitely one of them at the moment.
Miguel Cotto is still, he's got age, but he's definitely up there. So here's the thing. When I was watching this fight, Monroe doesn't have power, and not in the way that, especially when you put him in the ring.
He looks like he should have power.
He looks like he should have power, but that's not how it translates into boxing. And Golovkin, who likes to go toe-to-toe with fighters, obviously got the better of Monroe through 6 rounds. Monroe actually said he could not go on.
He said
which was, I think, for some of its self-preservation. Yeah. Because for Monroe to get up after the 6th round TKO, where he got up on the 10 count, which I was kind of calling out for, the refs got to call it there. Yeah, you got to be up on 10, not getting up on 10. And I mean, just when you look at Monroe going toe-to-toe with Golovkin, Golovkin is the best power fighter right now. And at 33 years old, he's going to hit 4 or 5 years of some great boxing matchups. And we're going to get to some of the fights that he's going to be fighting next. But he's a superb technical boxer. And his footwork is prime, lateral movement is there. His fakes, which look like power punches, turn into stronger jabs than what Monroe could have even thrown.
And he knows his opponents well. Like, Monroe even came out and said that he was getting hit consistently in the kidneys and the ribs, and he couldn't feel his legs. It's frightening to think that you can't feel your legs, especially if you're a boxer in the ring.
It's scary.
It is pretty scary, and that is what Golovkin is so good at. He's got these combinations. Like, of course, he is able to attack a lot of boxers to the head, and he's got that knockout power to catch someone clean in the jaw, as we've seen. But he is a great body boxer. He'll hit people in the body, wear them down to the point that if they're going to continue on, they'll start to let their hands drop, and they'll get easy access to the chin. But most boxers that we've just seen, as Monroe just did, they don't even get to that stage. They're already down by the time it comes to like 6 rounds, because those are hard punches to take.
Nothing was hurting Golovkin. And round 4, 10-9, across the board to Monroe, it was his best round, and he felt, there was a little bit of a resurgence. He felt alive. But just his accuracy was there in that round. He was able to work his boxing in that round specifically, but it wasn't doing any damage. And to go 12 rounds with Golovkin is going to be next to, I don't want to say impossible, but if you're not fighting a Cotto, an Alvarez, which would be a fireworks of a fight if he does fight Alvarez, Andre Ward, I mean, I don't know how many fights Golovkin's ever going to have in his career go 12.
And there's an article, again, going back to the Guardian.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but the interesting thing would happen if he does go 12 is what kind of stamina does Golovkin have in rounds 10, 11?
That's the question that many people are asking, is because we've not seen that part of his boxing yet. And you mentioned a couple of fighters there that we would love to see. We'd love to see him fight Ward, but Ward's gone through some health, some issues. So we don't know in terms of health will he actually be able to get back in the ring. They mentioned Mayweather in there. We know.
Well, I made a card.
Have you got a card for this?
I said, who's next for GGG?
The only way Mayweather gets in the ring with GGG
Alvarez, Ward, or Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather would be next to insane to step in the ring with Golovkin.
If someone's forcing Mayweather in with a gun to his head, he's still not going to go.
Andre Ward saw a lot of boos. So here's the interesting that happens with boxing now. GGG, I would love to see him fight both Cotto and Alvarez.
Same time?
Yes, at the same time.
Triple threat match.
By the way, this all has to do with the fact that Cotto still has to beat Daniel Gill in June. Or Gale. That's a great fight. And hopefully he does make his way with him, and then that's going to open the door for either Cotto versus Alvarez or Cotto versus Golovkin. Either way, Cotto would be an interesting, more technical boxing fight. Alvarez versus Golovkin could be the first chance you see a double knockout in boxing.
A Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed, same punch knockout.
I joke about it, but I mean, you got a guy like Alvarez who's going to come out firing through first rounds, and if Golovkin stays on his feet for those first 3-4 rounds, Britton Harden always tells me Alvarez's big weakness is his stamina.
Yeah, and that's something that's now to be questioned.
Could you imagine a slower Alvarez in round 6 or 7 against a Golovkin?
Yeah.
Who could blindly knock somebody out
so
without looking at him?
Where does our charismatic but yet glass-jawed Amir Khan come in at this point?
Amir Khan said that he wants to fight Mayweather, and Mayweather has now kind of started. Granted, he changes every day.
Yeah, Mayweather changes
every day,
by
but
a minute.
Of recent, Bleacher Report updates tell me that he will fight Amir Khan. But as Britton Harden has also told me, Amir Khan, a very religious man, will not train during Ramadan, and that could get in the way with a September fight
as well, which could be very convenient for Mayweather passing on that to maybe move on to someone else. But we don't know. I mean, with Golovkin, you're saying what everyone else is saying. I think that the reason why people still continue to question whether this guy is
for real,
is for real. But people shouldn't be questioning that. You know, I know people still question what fighters he's been fighting, what big name fighters he's been fighting. The statistics are there. An unbelievable knockout power, 20 straight knockouts, can't be looked past at any cost. So now it's time. It's time for us to see him in a big fight. I'd love to see him fight Cotto, but you said still. He even said that he wants to fight another 2 fights before 2015 is over.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
True.
It's insane. Well, but for someone that's got that knockout power and that much confidence in himself.
So are you saying you want less Golovkin?
No, I would like to see him, but I just think fighting another two more fights before the end of 2015 is a little insane.
It's not great for training.
Like in terms of boxing, you need to give yourself a good 2-3 months of hardcore training for a big fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I want to see quadruple G or quintuplet G, or I don't know what 6 is. Someone help me out. One quote I need to read before I get into one last thing, the 3 fights that I'm looking forward to. No fans are as bloodthirsty as the Americans. This is from The Guardian, great article. While we tend to appreciate the finer points of the art on this side of the Atlantic, there they love to see a guy flat on his back with blood dribbling through his teeth, and that is true. American casual boxing fans aren't going to give a shit about the technical abilities of a boxer and whether he can go toe-to-toe for 12 rounds against a defensive specialist. They want to see knockouts. Personally, us speaking, we love the art of boxing. We love watching it for the reason that more diehard fans do, in which a technical fight to us is as much of a gift as watching somebody like Kirkland getting his jaw smashed in.
Yes.
Both sides are great, but that is a great way to sum up how a lot of casual boxing fans see it. And lastly, before we go, there's 3 great fights coming up all through in June. Cotto versus Daniel Gill. That will have a lot of implications on Alvarez's next fight and Golovkin's next fight. Adrian Broner versus Porter on June 20th. Should be interesting, not nearly as great as watching Desert Storm get back in the ring. Timothy Bradley versus Jesse Vargas. All in June. Lots of boxing to look out for. A lot of fun to be watching, covering, talking about, as we always do. That's Francis.
Whoa. Man, the
go back
cameras
to the
are
double
just
shot.
bouncing. I like that. That was cool.
We lost it.
Yeah, we
That's Francis. This is Jason. That's been TYT Sports. What do they do? Where do they click to subscribe?
Probably, let's just
mug?
let's put it in the coffee mug today. Right here, I'm going to draw it. I don't know. I feel like I'm drawing 3D right now. That area.